everyone, I'm Joy Marie. If you've seen the video that I posted on my IG at I Give You Joy, it kind of blew up. It's basically me talking about my real estate journey. And I guess there's just a bit of interest on how I got started. Not necessarily me, but what product I use, which was the VA loan. So a lot of this is specifically for military for this particular video. So if you're interested in using your VA loan and collecting properties along the way, I am here to answer those questions. I do have a bunch of questions that came from IG, so this is basically the questions that are in my DMs right now. Some really good ones. So I'm just gonna go through them and talk about them, and then from there I'll start making more videos pertaining to how to really break this down and get more properties and strategies behind it. So I look forward to it. Let's dig in. Okay. So, first question is, how were you able to use your VA loan on multiple properties without the transfer part or not? Right. I think she means like, how was I able to use my VA loan and not PCS? Is what normally we call it. PCS to a different location. So you can use your VA loan because once you have a VA loan as a military member, you carry it for your life, basically, right? So with that being said, how do you use it even when you're not active duty military or you haven't moved? Great question. There's two ways to do it. So the first way is if you need to downsize or upsize in any capacity for any reason, like maybe your mother is coming to live with you and she's disabled, so you need a place that has more space for her, that's like another bedroom on the first floor, or you have to build like a ramp that's like ADA compliant. That's a reason. Or say for instance, maybe you have kids right now, or you don't have kids right now and pregnant, expecting twins or a child, or whatever the case may be. Like that's a good reason as well. I think you get what my point is that you honestly need a reason. You can use it. There's no like 100-mile distance like FHA. You can use your VA loan as long as you have a reason, and also as long as you can afford it, because you are carrying both mortgages. They're gonna want you to explain what you're gonna do with that other house. Most of the time, people say rent. That's like the easiest answer. If you say you're gonna give it to anybody else, oh, I'm just gonna live in it, or just keep paying for it, and my kid's gonna live there. That's a reason too. But as long as you can afford both mortgages, you can use your loan. You just gotta have a reason. It has to make sense to that particular lender to take on the liability of someone using that VA loan. That's really what it is. Okay. What's the other way? Or the other way is once you meet your cap, because it's one thing to be able to buy a house because you are still under your limit, and then a second is because you've reached your cap. And I think there's a question in here about that too. But if you reach your cap, the best thing to do, especially if you've had the house for a while, or especially there's a spike in the market and a bunch of equity is now in your house, like 2021 was like a great time for people to refinance out of their VA loans and into a conventional loan, and it would have been perfect. So that's the point, is that you have options to refinance out of your loan, but it should make sense, okay? Just refining out just to refi out does not make sense alone. You need to, or refining out of your VA loan just to do it, just to free up the VA loan, needs to like be very beneficial to you. For instance, interest rates are super high right now. If you bought your house originally at like a 3 point something interest rate, and now interest rates are 7%, would it make sense to refi out even if you do have less than 80% in equity into your house? No, it wouldn't, because now even if you rent it, you're going to continue to rent it out. You've lost profits because now the bank is taking more money from you because it's a higher interest rate. And now also it depends on what you're going to do with that house, if you're going to take any little bit of cash out or not. So it's a bunch of things that are dependent. If you want me to dig into that one more in like a separate video, let me know, because I don't want to get off track. There's a lot to talk about. As you see, I can keep talking for days about this subject. All right, let me go to the next question. I have a very long one from a Navy airman, or not airman, seaman. Um, she's wondering if she should buy a house in San Diego, and because she's about to PCS. And she's in San Diego and it's expensive there. So she's wondering if she should use her VA loan to buy a house in a very expensive place, knowing she's about to leave. But there's also a possibility she might come back and live there. And she doesn't know if she's going to stay full time in the military or not. So she's kind of up in the air of like, should she make this big purchase, and use up a chunk of her cash for like a closing costs, because it is closing costs, even though it's now zero down, towards this house. And my answer to that is, it really does have to make sense. Okay. I personally would not spend, close to $1 million for a property I do not plan to come back to, or do not have like a long-term investment in. Like, I personally would not purchase a property just for 1 year of living there and then leave and for the possibility to come back. My game plan is to keep properties near me when they're really that expensive. Like, it has to have multiple, I guess, profit and income streams out of it. So, such as my 5 unit, right? I could live there if I ever want to, right? I rented out 4 units to my tenants, and then 5th unit, I originally was going to do an Airbnb, and then instead I did a content studio. So it really just depends. I personally don't buy single families, so if she's buying a single family in a very expensive area, no, I would never think that's worth it. Buying a multifamily in a very expensive area, I think it will always be worth it, but that is going to be a really expensive mortgage that she may or may not can carry, if she decides to get out. So that's something to consider. Very, very something to consider. If it was me, it would be a no for me. I need more concrete stability, but if you're more a risk taker, I wouldn't spend close to $1 million in an area I don't want to live in. Like, I bought a condo in Alaska when I was stationed there, but again, I had it all planned out, and I think it proved that even if you have something planned, it still doesn't work out, because the base I was at was Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst. No, which base was that? No, that's Jersey base. J-Bear McGuire. No, Joint Base Elmendorf and Fort Richardson. I'd have been to many places, but anyway, so I was at J-Bear for 3 years, and I bought a place. Great, cool. And it's a joint base with the Fort Richardson. They actually decided to move the brigade, I think is equivalent to a wing, move the brigade completely from Alaska. So that left a vacancy of 3,000 people. So what was a hot market where rents, when I bought it, my mortgage was like $1,100, but with a $400 HOA fee, right? So that's $1,500 right there for my place. So when I first purchased it, I was buying it for cheaper than what places were being rented at. Places were being rented at for $1,600, and on a up to $1,800. And I knew I had a really nice place, corner view, on an apartment building, 3rd floor, vaulted ceilings, the whole 9 yards. It was amazing. I knew I was gonna get like $1,800 to maybe close to $2,000 once I left. 3 years later, negative. When they took the entire brigade away, it completely made my rent like $1,450 is the most I could rent my apartment out. And I just said that my mortgage plus the HOA fees was $1,500, so I was in deficit. So I quickly sold that place after Korea, because I left there, went to Korea, and then went to McGuire, and then kind of hoping the market could change, but I sold it in 2021 as well. Okay, so just it's cool to have properties and all, but it's not fun when you left with the bill because, you know, it's not being rented or there's a freak accident that happened to it. You just kind of got to put protections in place for yourself. Um, all right, this person said, I'm a vet myself and looking to start my journey. Honorably discharged at 90% VA, and he's on his way to get to 100%. What do I recommend? This is a perfect question. Why? Because I'm actually 100% disabled as well, and many people don't know that. Don't really talk about it. I don't think it's anything personally to brag about, but what you should do with that is freaking buy a property in a nice area where, like, a multifamily or something like that, and file for tax exempt. Make sure you buy a property in a place that allows for property tax exempt, and then honestly, you pay no property taxes. You basically make so much more profits because you're not giving money away to the state. Thank goodness. Um, that's the first thing I would do. And outside of that, it's just hopefully you're being smart with your money and reinvesting that money that you're making. So if you're working plus the disability pay, and then plus you're getting a tax exempt, like, you're just pretty much set up right there. Um, Honestly, that disability pay allows me to be a little bit more free as an entrepreneur and make a little bit more riskier decisions right now as I grow, for the bigger reward. You know, big risks with big rewards. That's mindset on that one. Next one. Hello, I would like to learn how to use my VA loan for two houses. What are the stipulations for how far each of them have to be? There's no stipulations for how far they have to be apart from each other. That's mainly the FHA. The big thing again is downsizing and whatnot. Okay, or downsizing and or upsizing. So I have a question regarding the VA cap. I currently own two family homes under the VA. If I were to refinance the house out of my name and into my wife's name, would that cap reset again, and or does it mean I still only have the amount? Absolutely, the cap resets every single time. And the beauty of it is that certain places, like right now, in most places, the cap is $726,000. Um, Most places that are really expensive, like Hawaii, LA, the cap is even higher. He has two places um, under his VA. So yes, if one is maybe 200,000, if he sells the other, he will still have 526,000 plus to work with. That's the good part. All right, so those are really good questions we have there. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up. That was a good. Let me know if that was a good Q&A. If you have any more questions that you want me to expand on, but I think that's that should be a good start. I'm gonna make a couple more videos. Sorry, I'm still getting used to like making these videos and talking to the camera, straight into the camera for long periods of time. So bear with your girl. Okay, bye.